Hello, it's time to learn orthodontics easily over a cup of coffee. I am Ji Dae-kyung, your senior ortho barista.
And I'm the junior ortho barista, Lee Jong-kuk. Today is the last filming day for Ortho Barista. Time does fly.
Definitely. It was just around this time last year that we frequently visited Gangnam area to earn a barista certificate. That was when this program was still in the planning phase. It brings back all the memories. It was really hectic.
But I have been really happy enjoying various coffee and desserts with you.
I heard that you have prepared a special dessert for our last episode.
Yes. I picked this one as the time with the Ortho Barista went by just like lightning.
Maybe it has something to do with lightning. I'm wondering what it will be.
짜잔.
Tada! It looks familiar. This is lightning.
Lightning?
Yes, it is lightning. Have you heard of Éclair?
Yes, I have heard of it. Isn't this the one usually served at a high-end restaurant?
Yes, that's right. It is my son's favorite.
By the way, of all the desserts shared so far, it smells the best. As soon as it was uncovered, the chocolate smell filled the studio. I want to dig in.
Éclair is one of France's signature desserts. This long and narrow-shaped dessert was first called doigt de chef, or chef's finger in English, as it looked like a finger. After that, it became to be called éclair, which means flash of lightning in French, as it is so delicious that people devour them in a flash.
Very interesting. It must taste so good. Let's try. Try some. What's in it?
It is so rich in chocolate.
It is so good. Have you tried? So delicious. How should I do? Can you tell me again?
No, you should show the other side, not the one you have eaten.
We have packed this last episode with all the great contents. Maybe it will be gone so fast like lightning. You'd better stay focused. Then, we will start. Today's topic is retainer protocol, as retention is the last step in orthodontics. The end, but it could be another beginning. Let me start by briefly explaining why retention is necessary. Once teeth are moved, the periodontal ligaments and soft tissues around them need to be reshaped. Soft tissues in the oral cavity and the moved teeth need some adaptation time. So, this will also be related with the period. Relapse is most often for the first 6 months. So, we tell patients to wear retainers full time, especially for the first 6 months or 1 year, except when they eat. We will talk about the protocol later. A textbook protocol will be wearing retainers for at least 2 years. In addition to a removable retainer, we also have a fixed type retainer. With this, we go ahead with a physiological retainer, instead of something too rigid. We sometimes use triflex wire, where teeth can be moved. I would say this is a textbook protocol. How about you? Do you exactly follow this?
The truth is, every patient is so different.
Actually,
one of the most frequently asked questions by patients is how long they should wear them. How long should they do? That is the key question. How about you, Dr. G?
Same for me. That is true that many patients ask about which type will be used and how long they must wear retainers. I think answers to this question will be mostly same among orthodontists. For me, I recommend patients to wear them for the rest of their lives. I am not overtly saying that, though. I rather encourage them to do so.
It can be understood that teeth moved by orthodontic treatment will stabilize and the space will reshape properly after about 2 years. That's what the textbook says. But there will be action and reaction in the oral cavity. It is a lifelong thing. And when gums get weakened, teeth will also move a lot. Over time, teeth can be twisted too. That is one of the aging process. Yes, teeth can move with aging, just like wrinkles on the face. With or without orthodontics, teeth can be moved or twisted. So, considering that we want the aligned teeth to be maintained that way for longer, it is not something that can be completed in 1 or 2 years.
Right. So, it would be better if patients think of this as a follow-up process rather than the continuous orthodontic treatment in a mindset that this is like an oral checkup, say once every 6 months, just like a health checkup. That would be a good mindset. We will also share opinions of other orthodontists about what types of retainers are used, how long they should be worn, and some other tips to add.
I believe that you are familiar with the types of retainers. There are fixed ones and removable ones as well. Do you use both types?
I usually use a fixed retainer on the maxilla and mandible and a removable retainer only for the maxilla. I mostly use a circumferential retainer.
Fixed retainers will be mostly the same. Later, we will show you some other fixed retainers that are a little different. I think we have these 5 types. Among them, the most common one, I think, is this one, a circumferential retainer, which is usually called a wraparound. Recently, a clear type is also being used a lot.
In particular, after clear aligners, patients find it hard to switch to circumferential or holly types.
I can see why. Wearing steel wires after clear aligners will not be much appealing. For general cases, like you just said, Dr. G, wearing a fixed retainer on the mandible and both fixed and removable ones on the maxilla is most common. For me, I make a decision depending on whether there was extraction or not. So, for mandible without extraction, I apply a fixed retainer, and as an extra, I give Omnivac, a clear retainer for a patient to use it for an emergency. If the retainer falls off before the next visit 6 months later, it would be best if the patient comes to the clinic right away. But when it is not possible, then the patient can use the clear retainer.
In addition, if you look here, this is an added or another line of wire. Between number 3 and number 4, there is an auxiliary wire, like this. Yes, for a case with extraction, say number 4 has been extracted, then this can be placed between number 5 and number 6.
You need to be accurate when making an order. It matters to share the information such as extraction when making an order to the lab. And for this wraparound type, when compared to beg or rather holly retainer, extraction is really an important factor to consider. Bite also should be considered in the order.
If a bite is a little deep, there will be pressure, leading to a retainer falling off. Then the bite may cause crowding. Anyway, you should be careful of all those things.
For this case, the treatment ended like this. There can be various diagnoses. Then, why did I include this one as an example? This is an open bite with spacing. To be honest with you, relapse can easily happen for a case like this. Considering the tongue and the extent of teeth movement, etc., I try to do everything I can for retention. Both for the maxilla and mandible, I use removable and fixed ones. Can you see here? Here, in this spot, I made a hole. Making a hole here.
This is a tip.
Yes, the tongue will go there into the hole. There can be many causes for an open bite. But if you think the tongue is a reason, tongue posture should be considered for retention. So, with a hole like this, tongue will move there. If the retainer is well fitted like this, tongue-related relapse can be somewhat prevented.
A hole can be made by a round burr. For me, when I make an order for children's retainers, I ask the lab to make that spot wider and attach a spinning bead. It can be a fun factor for children. Right, so for a case of generalized spacing, you should take the size of tongue into consideration, because that can be really stressful. More than teeth being twisted, spacing can be more annoying.
Even when orthodontic treatment is over, that is not really the end. We should put lots of effort in retention and better maintenance should follow. I have always wanted to listen to other orthodontists' opinion for retention. So, we made some interviews.
Let's take a look at them.
My name is Jang Min-hee, practicing in Incheon.
Today's topic is retention. I'd like to ask you 3 questions. After the end of orthodontic treatment, do you have your own routines for retention? I think this is not just about me.
Many will take a similar approach. I apply a fixed retainer on the anterior region and then wrap around retainer.
Both for maxilla and mandible.
Yes, for both of them.
For the mandible, a circumferential retainer will also be attached?
Yes, for a case where number 7 on the mandible has not erupted, I use Hawley retainer.
Retention period can be really important for patients, I think. Do you have any span of time you recommend for retention?
I usually tell patients that 2 years are necessary. Then 2 years later, they usually ask whether they should keep wearing them. My answer is yes, it is recommended to wear them at a young age. In their 20s, there is a possibility for relapse, so I tell them to use retainers until they turn 30. And when patients come every 6 months for a checkup, I tell them to keep retainers until the next visit, and then another 6 months until the following visit. Like this, I am extending the time of retention.
Is there any tip you can share, your own secret?
If a decision for debonding is made, I usually check the initial diagnostic photographs before making a fixed retainer. If the relationship between number 2 and number 3 or between number 3 and number 4 is good, I will make a retainer that will cover only up to lateral incisors. That way there will be less hassle in terms of the number of teeth to be taken care of. And as for another tip, retainers shouldn't always be symmetrical. A retainer can cover up to number 3 on one side and number 2 on the other side.
Thank you, Dr. Jang. By the way, aren't we really serious about this program?
We even did an outdoor filming for Ortho Barista. We are this much serious. Anyway, when you plan on using a fixed retainer, you can think about the design as well based on the initial diagnostic photos. It is not like it should always cover from number 3 on the right to number 3 on the left. It can vary in design, like from number 2 to number 2 or number 4 to number 4. So, that is why it matters looking at the initial diagnosis photographs. That was a very good tip.
For example, when number 5 is locked in, this locked-in tooth has been raised up, then I usually extend a fixed wire outwards for number 5 and number 6. And another case to think about is number 5 extraction. This is the one you mentioned earlier.
Yes, this Hawley retainer is different from a wraparound. While a wraparound covers all the buccal area, this one is not like that. Retention will be done for number 6 like this, and there is a labial bow on the anterior region. Dr. G, do you often use this type?
I usually use a wraparound. I sometimes use a Hawley type for a case before the eruption of number 7.
Right, as a wraparound has its limitations in that case. But this Hawley type has shortcomings as well. This will be interfering with the bite. And in extraction cases, when number 4 has been extracted, the guide wire will be in contact with the extraction site. So, it will be hard to use this type for orthodontic treatment after extraction.
In addition, there is a possibility of squeezing in a wraparound by using a labial bow. The squeezing effect is not something big, but still, a bit better in extraction cases.
This is the patient that I recently took care of. I spent 2 years to have the teeth aligned. As you know, it will take about a week to make a removable retainer. 3 to 4 days at the fastest. For this case, an impression was taken and I told the patient to come back again 3 or 4 days later. The patient came back a week later and told me that a tooth seems to have stuck out. So, I checked and right there I saw one tooth has stuck out. Number 15 had been moved inward over 2 years of treatment. I thought that it will stay there just fine, but in just 7 days, it stuck out again. During that short time while a removable retainer is being made. Sometimes, things are not perfectly stable. There can be unexpected things. So, for a case like this, when I think there is an increased risk of relapse, I give patients an Omnivac sheet, made right away in my clinic. And I tell them to wear it before a removable retainer is made. But in this case, I really didn't see this coming. The relapse was really fast in that case.
That was a really good point. For me, when we take an impression because of a fixed wire, instead of partial impression, full impression will be taken. And then I give patients clear aligners only for incisal edge, focusing on the occlusal surface, so that they can wear them until they get a retainer. This is my routine.
Then, an impression should be taken with brackets attached, shouldn't it? Then only covering the occlusal face.
Yes, that is right. There is another way of doing this. This is the one used by another orthodontist I know. Actually, I don't do this out of concern about accuracy. But he sends the data with brackets attached to a lab. Then the lab will do the polishing. Anyway, the lab can do a good job of polishing, so this could be another tip.
What is important is that we always should be careful in the period before a retainer is fabricated. Well, there are various types for a removable retainer. For a wraparound retainer, when there is a guide wire like this, it will fit well and stability is good. But when it is impossible to place a guide wire because of the bite issue, retention should be reinforced somewhere. Then, in the front a clear plate can be placed. With a clear resin, it will be enough for retention even without the guide wire. When the bite is so tight and it is impossible to place a steel wire that goes like this, then on the anterior region, well, there could be various types. Even without this steel, a retainer can be made. But anyway, more reinforcement is important. Especially, for the mandible, teeth are a bit smaller. Then the retainer will easily fall off. So, for reinforcement purpose, I think those options are good.
What is interesting, maybe not that interesting, anyway. Sometimes, patients make a request. Because in some way, retainers would look much better, without standing out. In case of that resin plate thing, although wires are attached, with the clear plate, patients feel more satisfied. Some orthodontists think about ways to make them look much better. A clear type is good, or resin with the color similar to that of tooth also can be a good way to make wires look less noticeable.
Right, there are various designs.
Now, we will show you an interview with the person we met in the first half.
She is now back from the US, right?
Let's have a talk with her. Nice to see you again, Professor Kim.
Nice to see you.
I believe that you have your own routine protocol for retention after the end of orthodontic treatment. Could you tell us about it?
Basically, I use a fixed bonded retainer for the anterior regions for retention. Then a removable type can be used occasionally when it is necessary. It is an extra.
So, you are saying that it is not a must.
Sometimes I use a removable one, but not always. There could be frequent relapse of crowding in case of a deep bite. So, if I need to add an ABP to have the bite control, a removable retainer can be used as an option.
How long to wear a retainer?
I think people should wear retainers for life. According to studies, they should be worn for about 2 years, 1 to 2 years. So I basically tell patients to wear them for 1 to 2 years. After that, it is up to them. But I try to convince them to wear them for the rest of their lives. Well, I believe that if it is not something made by nature, lots of human efforts should follow to keep it.
That is the end.
The interview was interrupted by an incoming call. I was able to put in the voice only, without the video. I really like what she said. If it is not something made by nature, lots of human efforts should follow to keep it.
I missed that while filming, but that was a really good point. By the way, Professor Kim's solution is always very simple and clear. Is it because she has much experience and top in the field? I felt that when she talked about molar uprighting. Anyway, she said that a removable type is optional, either for maxilla or mandible.
This picture shows a type that I occasionally use, not frequently. This shows an ABP-like thing on the front in addition to a removable retainer.
For a patient that had a deep bite, I sometimes add a plate just in case.
Whenever I use plates, I have some concerns that they may affect the occlusion. But so far, based on my experience of using them as an optional thing, there was not a problem.
I hear you. In October, 2022 KAO conference was held in COEX. See, we are this much serious about this show.
Yes, we went there with all our filming equipment.
And did some interviews while touring material booths. Now we are going to share some good tips and updates made to materials as well. Let's take a look.
Could you explain what this is?
To solve the shortcomings of the existing Triflex wire, we wanted to change the material itself to nickel titanium, very elastic nickel titanium. Will you take a look at this thin plate? By using the scan data with CAD/CAM, we design this with CAD and do the cutting with a laser. The default thickness is 0.4 millimeters. And for these customized designs, we can adjust the thickness as we like. The range is wide from thick to thin. The minimum thickness is 0.3 millimeters.
It is available for activation, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Purposes are different. This part is for fixing and this one is for moving teeth a bit. We will first set up this model digitally and then with that setup, we will design. Then it will be a little longer like this. On one side, it will be placed like this and we will push it a bit. Then with the restoring force of nickel titanium, space can be secured.
It looks very neat.
Usually for a space maintainer, you usually use band and loop. Then you have to attach bands and take an impression too. It is a big hassle. But with this, you only need to scan and attach this on 4 parts.
Is it similar to Easy Spacer?
In a way, it is similar, but what is good with this is that it will be fixed like this, thus not much reaction.
Exactly, rightly fitting the shape of the teeth.
Do we need to have a scanner for this? Or will you make it with an impression?
We have a scanner, so no worries. If you give us a model, then we can scan and make this.
Basically, you can think of it as a mill-type fixed wire. It is like a nickel titanium wire for the physiological movement mentioned before. In fact, for me, in my clinic, the staff members bend a Triflex wire for a fixed type. It is not easy. Not easy at all.
I did mention wire syndrome before. In that condition, rather than relapsing to the previous status, root can be moved from the crown toward the labial or lingual side. This movement may be related to the shape of a wire. Thus, going forward, I think this mill-type fixed wire can be a solution for us. And it can be more sophisticated and will get much better as it will be made by a machine.
That was a local company's product. We will introduce another type of a milled product.
This is a lingual side retention device called Magic Retainer. Unlike the existing retainers, this one is made of nickel titanium, thus without possibility of deformation. As it is made by computer technology, it is very sophisticated. makes sure proper fitting, and also reduces a feeling of discomfort inside the mouth, thus less food compaction. And this one is Magic Retainer A, which will be launched in the first half of next year. As an antibacterial retainer, this can remain clean and be used for a long time. It is also 3 times stronger than other general retainers. Another improvement is that it is better resistant to discoloration.
I am very interested in using such mill-type nickel titanium retainers. Have you used them before, Dr. G?
Yes, I have.
How was it?
Well, the wire syndrome you mentioned earlier does not happen that much frequently. We usually focus more on retainers falling off and then deformation of teeth and something like that. Moreover, in the adaptation phase, there will be no need to check the bite, the shape. Thus, we will be free from all the hassles. If they come in an affordable price range, we will be happy to use them.
Even though they are expensive, if the quality is good.
Yes, that is right.
If the quality is good, it would be a right choice to use them even though they are pricey. And the antibacterial retainer was also introduced. This type of clear retainer has been improved to prevent fracture and holes, as people sometimes bite them too hard or grind them, or there can be other pressure as well. Improvements in products will lead to good clinical cases.
Like I said, they are a bit expensive. But there are many options such as Magic Retainer. And for another clear type, Invisalign will soon launch Vivera. Do you remember we went to the European Orthodontic Society Congress together?
Yes, it was 3 years ago.
This is the company we saw back then, and it was there at 2022 KAO conference. Can you briefly introduce the product?
When I saw this product in Nice, I found it very interesting. You wanted to buy it, didn't you? I was really impressed. If you have this machine in a clinic, you just need to put in the scan data. Then the machine will bend a wire retainer in only a couple of minutes. It is not milling, isn't it? No, it is a bending machine. Just like a vending machine, if you put in scan data, then bended retainers will come out. It was really impressive. That was Bender I from a company called Ewha at 2022 KAO conference. The company unveiled Bender 2, which got much smaller. Of course, it is expensive. It was on the list of lucky draw items. For the first or second prize, if I remember correctly.
Or we could chip in to buy one and share it.
It was something I wanted, even if I had to share it.
I wish I won it as a prize.
Anyway, that sums up the KAO conference information related with retention. I hope that you can find the information quite helpful.
For today's episode, we talked about the retainer protocol. I believe that all of you are already very familiar with the basic routines. So, we wanted to focus more on sharing other orthodontists' tips and other new materials and products. That brings us to the end of the Ortho Barista. Before we go, I would like to ask you how much helpful you have found our show.
We made lots of efforts for this show, and we were wondering how much useful this has been to you.
Well, I want to believe that you have found the show very helpful and useful. Now, we will have to say goodbye. Have a great day, and we will see you again next year.
Take care and thank you.
끝. 뭐 전주 고생하셨어요. 고생 많으셨습니다. 사진 좀.
Is this a video? It is a video, not a photo.
Thank you very much. It is not just us. Here we are together with the staff, who are working really hard behind the scene. I really appreciate all of you. I think this show is like a big present for us. Thank you very much for making the show possible. We really appreciate it. I think I'm going to cry.
For me, this show was a good chance to study more. If I have another opportunity, I will study and prepare more. Could we do this again next year?
Are you begging for the next show?
I am saying this because we have to get ready if there is the next show. Anyway, thank you again, and it was a lot of fun.
One more thing. What was really impressive was that we started to get more and more questions toward the end of the show. At first, one of us was enough to answer questions, but now it became harder even for both of us to handle them as questions are pouring in.
It's a shame that we couldn't answer them as quickly as possible. Or we could set another time to answer all the questions.
That would be nice, like a Q&A session. Thank you for the good job. Oh my God, are you crying?